Hey everybody, so happy Monday. I am so sorry I'm not joining you guys today. Actually, I'm guessing that as this airs, I will be on a plane heading back from where I am to go see my family in Virginia, but this is where I am at the moment. Super excited to have spent the past several days here in New York City. Took a trip with a few dear friends, met up with a few dear friends as well as some former students who are just gracing the stages in many of these beautiful theaters here, seeing lots of Broadway shows, which I promise I'm going to talk about that and share all of that info with you next Monday when I see you. And I got new coffee mugs, so I get to share those as well. So I know Erica's doing a great job. Love you, sweetheart. I will see you guys next Monday. But until then, just remember, I love you guys. Please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. Happy house hunting. See you Monday.
Ah! Hey, how's it going? I was doing the reaction of everyone that tuned in to see Amy, and there she is talking to you, and then it's me. And so, Sydney, I see that I know you guys were so close and didn't have time to, that would have been cool if you could have gotten together. But Amy is actually at this very second, she just texted, she's on the plane, getting ready to fly to Virginia. So, I'm all alone, as they say, and the donkey says in Shrek. And so we really enjoy this time that we call coffee time, to just get together. And really, the whole idea is to have our community and just be here and talk about real estate, talk about things going on. And so we wanted to go ahead and have our coffee time today. That right there, you hear that duck sound. That's my daughter Allie, who's with us today on the thing too. I guess I should mute those. Whenever we're on the plane, we just type the word love. And so there's really so I'm on the plane, getting ready to turn off my phone, then everyone will type love on the thing. And the really wonderful thing about that is that it's just a nice thing to see right before you turn off your phone. I used to travel a lot for work, and I think I started that tradition because it's just a way to say it right before you turn on the phone, because it seems like every time I'd get on the plane, I'd open up a magazine that I bought and it'd be like top 10 air disasters. And so it was always nice to see good words from everyone right before you took off. So she's taken off. I think the flight actually leaves at 9:30. So she is out there, but it also means she can't tune in to coffee time today. So I can say whatever I want. Just we'll go through and see some folks. Ron Cheryl, good to see you. Garrett, and I think I said it right for the first time ever. We always debate how to say your name. Good morning, Garrett. Deb is here. Dawn, you're very welcome. Thank you for tuning in, because one of the things I know is that Amy and I have been married for almost 30 years. April 3rd, we are 30th anniversary. And so you know the person that you're married to very well. You know the good stuff, the bad stuff, and all that. One of the things I know for sure, and we've built an entire business based on the fact that Amy's really a nice person, but she also is really, really good in situations like this. And so it's nice to have her every week as someone, as part of the business, to be like, hey, Amy could go on a live stream and talk to everybody for an hour and be informative and fun and nice, and then to say, okay, well, I'll fill in and do that. That's quite a thing. But so thank you for being here. Sorry, you gotta look at my mug today. Rob says he's wondering about the duck. Yeah. So my two daughters, I have forever. Allie, how long have I called you baby duck? I think forever. And then I actually call my daughter Elizabeth. I call her the goose. She actually has a little goose tattoo, and so I have the duck and the goose. So they quack when they text me. Carrie, how are you? So Carrie sold a beautiful home in Claremont a little while back, and is now on the Space Coast. It's really so cool of you to tune in. Kim is here. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. Gary Wandry, one of the coolest guys, lives up in Groveland. Nishad, how are you? This is so cool. Okay, so now I see why Amy likes to do this. Sometimes I I'm producing the show, right? So all the graphics and stuff, I make all that, and I kind of set the agenda for what we're going to talk about, in consultation with Amy. But one of the things that we always like quibble about is, I'm like, it's nice to like see everyone's comments and everything, but I'm always like, get to what's brewing, like from a show perspective. But now I get it. I'm like, oh, I want to see everyone's comments and put them on the screen because that's fun. So, but I'm gonna practice what I preach, and I'm going to. Oh, thanks, Sydney. I didn't actually mean to put that on the screen, but it's nice that you said that. So I'm gonna practice what I preach a little bit though, and get right to what's brewing because we got a lot to talk about. And we've got it lined up. But first, I see Diz Deb, our Forrest and Elizabeth Bengals fans. Yes, ma'am. Hooday. So we're going to talk about the Bengals for sure in just a minute. But for now, here is what's brewing. So there you see right there, the number 2 thing that we're going to talk about is Hooday. And if you don't know the Bengals, it's a little poem that we like very much. Hooday, Hooday, who they think gonna beat them Bengals? Nobody. So we usually say it with a little more enthusiasm than that. So he asked about our Forrest and Elizabeth Bengals fans. Elizabeth is a supportive Bengals fan because she knows that we like the Bengals. Forrest and so I've been a Bengals fan for as long as they've been a team. I have been alive. We were born the same year, and my father was from he was born in Kentucky, moved to Ohio, so right there in the Cincinnati area for most of his young life. And so I always said he cursed me with Bengals fandom because if you know football, to be a Bengals fan has not been a great thing for many years. And I cursed my son, Forrest. I cursed him with the same thing. But now, suddenly, we have a quarterback. So, I'll skip to number 2 of what's brewing to start with. I really like this graphic. So that's Hayden Hurst going for the first down. But also, if you didn't know, Cincinnati beat the Buffalo Bills 27-10. Bill, our good friend and client, and I had a little wager for a beer and a burger on the game. He's a big Bills fan, and I won. So I'll be cashing in that bet. I'm not a big bettor, but that was cool. Diz Deb, your husband's a semi-Bengals fan. There you go. That's it. Hey, I mean, we'll take it. Forrest, by the way, giving us the enthusiasm on the Bengals thing. So we are very excited. I know that other people's football teams that they support is not the most exciting thing. So I'll move on from that except to say, hooday. Amy's in New York. So that is why I'm here today. But we don't get, so Amy, in 2021, we looked back, we did a seminar for the realtors in our brokerage. Amy is very good at this real estate job. And so they asked us to do a thing for our brokerage. And we went back and looked because she had hit some money milestones and some sales milestones that were, are kind of impressive. And we went back though to say, what did it take to hit those marks? And what it took was that in 2021, she had 2 days off. And I mean, literally 2 days where she didn't have to do any real estate in 2021. And it was our daughter's wedding. It was the rehearsal and the day of the wedding. She turned her phones off. Even Christmas Day, she had a real estate thing she had to deal with. That's not healthy. And kind of the point of that was, think about what you wish for. And so, if you want to be busy in real estate, there can come a cost with that. So we're trying to fix that. And so one of the things was our friend Chip was down. And there we go. Our friend Chip, there he is next to Amy. Our friend Chip was down a little while ago. We showed you a picture of him. He was a kid of the kingdom on the 15th anniversary. He was in the Castle Show at Disney World right here in Orlando. But he's also just our dear friend and has been for years and years and years. And actually, Chip and Jeff, right there, Jeff is next to him. They were my roommates at King's Dominion when I was a singer slash singer that moves well, dancer, which is where I met Amy. We've been friends forever. And Amy taught at the Governor's School for the Arts for Chip, which he is the director of the musical theater department. Amazing work that they do there. And so many of their students have moved on and are now on Broadway. So that's Nasia Thomas. By the way, that's Mark Hudgens next to them, who's a musical director, a really great guy from the Norfolk area. That's Nasia Thomas. She's in the musical called Six. So they went to see that one. Let me see if I got these pictures. That's Andrew. Andrew is the swing in the Book of Mormon. So also another one of Amy's former students. The swing, what that means is he knows all of the parts. And so if someone gets hurt, if someone gets sick, he jumps in. So that's cool. And so that's Andrew. And then they went to see, so they didn't get to see Book of Mormon. They did get to see Anne Juliet, and that is Veronica, and with Jeff. So she was in that show. Amy said that show was amazing. They also went to see Funny Girl. Leah Michelle is the former, no, she's not. They don't know Leah Michelle. But they went to see Funny Girl just because they wanted to see it on Broadway. So they went there. So a bunch of shows, had a good time. Amy does not travel well. She gets very nervous when she's traveling, and it's something that's it's just on her side of the family. They get travel anxiety, and they don't eat a lot, and so like whenever she travels, it's really like a tale of two trips. Like she had a really great time, but she also she worries about the traveling and all that. So happy for her. She's on the plane. She's going to her mom's house. She'll get to sit down and eat and the whole thing. So I wanted to share with you though. So I dug up some video of Amy. We know her as a realtor. I know her as my wife. But we always say, well, Amy used to be a performer. She used to be a singer dancer. Really, really amazingly talented person. The only thing she lacked was the self-confidence that's required to recognize that you're as good as you are. So I truly believe Amy would have been had a long career on Broadway. I'm glad she didn't, because then I got to marry her and have 4 kids and everything else that's happened. She just didn't ever think that she was any good. But the thing that she's best at in the entire world, in addition to real estate, is teaching. And so she owned her own dance studio for 25 years. She taught for her mother, who has had a dance studio in Virginia Beach, which closed recently, but after like their 50th year in business. So from the time she was 15, 16, she was teaching for her mom, opened her own studio, but then she taught at the Governor's School for the Arts. So I found a clip of her teaching tap to some of the students at the Governor's School for the Arts. This was actually a rehearsal to record it for someone that couldn't be at rehearsal to learn Transylvania Mandarin. So here's a quick little peek at that. Okay, that's cool. I just like seeing that because my girl can tap. She's really good. Susan, that was very nice. Susan says, so Susan is a friend, but also a dance mom. And so her daughter, Sarah, danced at the studio for many, many, many years and is a wonderful dancer. And so Susan, that's very nice. And I have to put up another Susan comment. So Jeff was a big crush of mine when he was in the New Virginians at Virginia Tech. So first of all, how dare you? The New Virginians, I was in the Madisonians at JMU. We were the rival show choirs. The concept of rival show choirs makes me laugh. Anyway, Allie remembers that dance combination. Absolutely. Amy, as a dance teacher, if you could tap, which by the way, Allie and Elizabeth, both fantastic tappers. Also Forrest and Dawson, very good tappers. All of our kids, good tappers. But if Amy knew that you could tap, if you were advanced, she would bring it. So I remember how exhausting some of that was. So that is Amy. She's on a plane now, but she's just cool. And we got a long history of her doing cool things. I don't know that she's ever there's nothing the woman can't do. So I wanted to share that with you as we go. And then what's brewing, I also had pet peeves, and I put it on here because I put it on the thumbnail for today's thing, because I was gonna rant a little bit and channel my inner sports radio guy, but I kind of can't, because I called myself out on our latest Sunday Drive video, which I'll share with you in a second. But first, one of my pet peeves is I don't like people who are not honest. And I've lied to you about another thing, which is I told you last week that I would have my first cup of coffee because that was going to be the thing. So true fact, I've never had a cup of coffee. I just don't like it. And there's a really funny story that I wonder if I can tell, so I just will. I snuck some candy from my mom when I was a kid, and it was coffee flavored candy, and it was horrible. It was the worst tasting candy I've ever had in my life, and it turned me off coffee forever. But the not funny part of the story is that the candy was called AIDS, and I think it was spelled AIDS. I'm not sure. But it was a weight loss supplement candy, but I didn't know that when I was a kid. And so every time I think about a cup of coffee, I think about that terrible, terrible candy and that terrible, terrible, as it turned out, name for a candy. But yeah, Fanny, seriously, never had a cup of coffee. Elizabeth called me a liar. Wow. And thank you, Susan, about the Madisonians. That's funny. But anyway, so I've never had a cup of coffee, and I don't regret, but people seem to really like it. But I got a Diet Coke this morning. And so, full disclosure, the reason why I lied to you is because I don't know how to make coffee. So, like, literally, I was like, okay, I gotta make a cup of coffee. I'm gonna drink a cup of coffee. And then I looked at the machine and I went, I have no concept of how the coffee machine works. So, I'll give you the pet peeves I was going to give you. We're going to talk a little bit about kind of what happens in real estate, some other pet peeves. But here's what happened. On our Sunday Drive, one of my pet peeves, which is overly aggressive, dumb drivers. Let me show you the clip, and I'll show you how I called myself out.
Everything you need. There's Walgreens.
Look at the
there's
guy in the
7-Elevens,
white
gas
truck coming up
stations,
behind
there's
us.
Chick-fil-A, there's Starbucks, there's what's that alarm? First alarm, second alarm. What's that?
First watch.
First watch. Thank you. You know what I was talking
I always
oh
think
gosh.
it's a fire station.
I'm so sorry, sir. I was not going fast enough on this road where you're not supposed to be going.
We're going 10 miles over on your vehicle. He's going
Who
like
are you, sir?
5
I'll
miles
find you out. Anyway,
you weren't.
I'm going 10 miles. It's 25 and I'm going 40, so I'm actually going fast. He's going way fast. Anyway, very important person. Anyway, point is, there's a lot of stuff right here nestled around, and of course, including quick, easy access to
What is that freak doing?
Wow.
Lord.
Don't know, but
unconditional positive regard. I'm sure there must be an emergency.
maybe their wife is pregnant and in labor. That's what's happening. Congratulations. Good luck to you. All right, my friend. So
Oh, sorry, Allie, I left that thing up. Now I don't know how to get it off of there. There we go. No? There we go. Still learning the buttons. So I called myself out for unconditional positive regard, which, by the way, is one of the things I try to live by, and it really does make you happier. So when I was like, I'm doing pet peeves, and I heard myself say that and remind myself, pet peeves are about complaining, and unconditional positive regard is about always assuming that other people have positive motives and positive reasons for doing the annoying things that they do. And it's and Allie, but the wife must be in labor is also my go-to. So but yeah, that guy his wife must have been really in labor and on that construction site somehow. But that happens. So I'm not going to pet peeve today. Let's be positive, and we'll take your questions. And I'll like one of the things that I'm always fussing at Amy about is to hit the buttons. And usually I have to come in and hit the buttons to remind you to like and subscribe if you get good value out of this content that we give you. The likes and subscribes really help us in terms of having more people see things. So I made all these cool buttons for like TikTok and all this stuff. So I want to share those as well. So please like and subscribe. And if you do have any questions, just put a Q in front of your question, because that will help me find it on the thing, because now I'm going to do the thing where Amy usually ends up typing Q in the chat, but I didn't. So if you have questions, pop those up there. Meanwhile, let's do a little congratulations, because we got a couple cool things that happened. All right, so Ilya and Valentina, awesome names, first of all. Second of all, they have contracted in Silverleaf, which is where we're actually, my daughter and son-in-law are building a house in Silverleaf. Silverleaf is up in the Hamlin area, so I get to do it. Up in the Hamlin area next to Hamlin Elementary, Hamlin Middle. It's going to be a beautiful community. Right now, it is just a few houses, but they've contracted. And then Tiffany and Jessica, I'll share with you that we have that. They accepted an offer this morning on their property, which is something we showed you in the video. That listing just went active just the other day when we were shooting that Sunday drive. We shot it on Wednesday because we were going to do a video tour because the listing was going active. So in just a couple days, we're going to talk a bit more about the listings Amy has here in a little bit. But congratulations to them. That is good stuff. And we're just excited about it. Whenever we really always think about the stories of the people, we kind of know in that situation, those homeowners had bought that home, and then they thought, well, it is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful home. And it's just, they decided, okay, we want to live in this part of town now. They got into it because it's a beautiful house, but it took, 9 months, a year to build. And by the time that happened, their priorities for where they wanted to live had changed. So they were like, could we, is it possible to sell this house as soon as we bought it? I said, sure. It's always a challenge, but it worked out. So congratulations to them. So let's go to some questions, and then we will go to more cool stuff. So Florida man, with the possibility that we will be putting our existing home up for sale later this year, what qualities should we be looking for in a realtor? What separates Amy from her peers in your opinion? Okay, a lot of good stuff there. Let me take it objectively first and say, what quality should you be looking for in a realtor? So in terms of listing your home, buyer agent and selling and listing agent, two different skill sets. I think Amy does really well at both of them. But in terms of someone that can list your home, market knowledge and help with pricing are really the two most important things. And they both kind of tie together. The price that you set for your home is the most important marketing tool that you have. So everybody will come in and tell you, well, we have this, we can market your home and do this and this and this. What sells the most houses is the multiple listing service. So the multiple listing service is what all realtors use. It's basically the foundation of the business. It's why, for better or for worse, why you kind of need a realtor, why it's hard to sell for sale by owner, because people go to the MLS to find out what homes are for sale. That's the number one marketing tool by a mile. People say, well, what about Zillow? Well, Zillow is just grabbing things from the MLS. That's what they're doing. So everything is aggregating that content. So when a realtor tells you, well, we have all of these different, and we do the same thing because we have different ways of marketing your home. But the number one thing is, what will be the price for your home? And everyone wants a really, really high price for their home. There's no reason, there's no problem with that. But a good realtor can tell you, here's what we think your house should list for, and here's what we think your home will sell for. Those two things are almost always not the same price. So if a realtor's telling you, I can sell your house for whatever, and they can't show you where similar homes have sold for more or for the same amount, then they better have a really good explanation of why they magically will make somebody, basically what they're telling you is they'll be able to sucker someone into paying too much for your house. If that's where they're starting their business proposition, I would worry about that, because I would think, okay, now I'm dealing with someone who is willing to be to try to fool someone on my behalf. Well, are they trying to fool me on their behalf? Doesn't happen very often, but overhyping the promises are really important. So you've got to be able to get good data from a realtor to be able to say, okay, this is what the home, where it will appraise. It's critical. Here's where we think you should list it. Here's where we think you should sell it. And here's a demonstrated history of your neighborhood and homes like yours. So if they can't back it up with evidence, then I would say, maybe not. So what separates Amy from her peers, first of all, is market knowledge. When she got into real estate, we tell the story all the time about that she got into real estate. She was either going to get a job at Walgreens or go into real estate. It wasn't like a driving, passionate purpose for her until she got into it. And she got into it because she was trying to help our friends find a house here. And that's what led to it. And so the driving force for Amy has always been so that people would have a better experience moving here than we had, because we were flying blind, and she doesn't want anybody to feel that way. And so what she did is she dug in so hard in a way that I'm in awe of, candidly. I mean, I'm her husband, and I know I'm a business partner of hers. So, I'm not totally objective here, but she works so hard to make sure she understands exactly what the market is doing. I can't tell you how many times she has a phone call with someone who's looking for a home or looking to sell a home. And so they'll call saying, I'm looking to list my home. And she'll say, oh, well, what neighborhood are you in? And they'll say, well, I'm in Watermark. And she'll say, oh, okay, so that's Merited. So what floor plan do you have? And they'll say, I have a Thompson. And she'll say, oh, okay, well, that's good. That's a great square footage for whatever. Do you have the bonus room addition? And she throws these things out, and they're like, how do you know about all this stuff? And I'm like, how do you know about all this stuff? She just knows her area of expertise, I think, better than anybody. And it's actually the key to the whole business, and no one ever really sees it until you're on the phone with her or out looking at homes with her or talking to her about a listing. There are lots of realtors who will tell you that they have perfect market knowledge everywhere. And then as soon as you call them, they'll say, great, I'll have my associate call you. That's another thing to look for in a realtor is, who is my realtor? And I know that sounds like that might sound like a crazy thing to say. Well, I called Realtor X. So my realtor is Realtor X, correct? No. There are a lot of realtors right now who, so if you're working with a team of realtors, there's nothing, by the way, nothing wrong with a team of realtors at all. It is sort of the model of how things work now. But a team works like this. You have a team leader. Usually that's the person you see on social media or in the advertisements and those kind of things. It's a little bit like lawyers who say, call my law firm and we'll represent you and whatever. Well, they're not going to actually represent you if you call them. They have an associate. So you need to know that up front. If you call Amy, Amy is your realtor. We have some folks that help out from time to time. We always say to allow us to have more than 24 hours in the day. Because it's about service. We want you to be able to get the questions answered you want and all of those things. And sometimes with a buyer coming in from out of town, if the schedule doesn't work out and you, Neil or Kennard, have to go meet that client because Amy's not available, they'll continue to work with them, but you always have Amy available there. So that was a long and rambling answer to say, make sure they have market expertise and make sure you're getting excellent data. Now, one of the things that, you see when we do these things, and you see Forrest Kidwell show up in the chat. You see Allie Lim show up. We're a family business. So our son, Forrest, has a long work history in data analysis. That's what he's done since he's gotten out of school. And so we actually employ him to really make sure that we have the best data analysis in the market, because it's that important. So, Florida man, when you decide whether you want to list your home, call Amy, get what we call a home pulse, which is 10 pages of data looking at all different angles of how we should price your home. We almost never give somebody a home pulse and have them go, I'm going to go with somebody else, because candidly, I think we just do that better than anybody. long rambling answer, but also just I'd invest in some phone calls. And by the way, you shouldn't only call one realtor. You shouldn't. You should call several. It's a very, very big decision about who to list your home with. So, and also there's personality fit is another thing. There is a realtor that works around here that is not a personality fit for me. His entire branding strategy is based on reality, which is that he's a jerk and he will be a jerk for you. And having said that, you might be surprised to hear me say, I have such respect for him because he delivers on what he promises. And he's a great realtor. But if you like him, you're not going to like working with Amy. And if you like working with Amy, you're probably not going to like working with him. So call a few people and see, are you getting the right data and is there a good personality fit there? So that was long and rambling, but hope that helped. Ron Sherrill, how you doing? What are your thoughts concerning water treatment systems? Pros, cons, types, costs. Yikes. I'm highly in favor of them, and I say that as someone who does not have a water treatment system in my house. And I really want to have one. So the pro is that, especially here in Central Florida, we've got a very specific water hardness and taste, and it takes some getting used to. If you don't get a filtration system, it just takes some getting used to. It's fine. But I mean, even like when you get out of the shower, the way your hair feels, if you're taking a vacation to Disney World, you may have noticed that. So, my daughter Allie and her husband, they have water filtration systems and they love it, swear by it. Cost can be expensive, but it comes down to personal taste for me. Here's one word of warning. When you buy a new home here in Central Florida, so Allie may comment about this in the chat for you as well, but they bought their first new home here in the community of Hawksmoor, and someone showed up, and they're first-time homeowners. Somebody showed up and said, we're here to do your water test. And they thought they were with the city of Winter Garden, that we're here to do a water test. So they let them in, they ran a water test, and wouldn't you know it, they were doing a sales pitch for a water filtration system. That is not cool. And so one of the things I would say, Ron, for sharing on my thoughts about a water filtration system is call and get a good reputable company to come out and install it for you. It's a structural option, by the way. A lot of times with new construction, you can pre-wire for it, and then you can decide later. It's not that expensive to pre-wire for it. So hope that helps. Again, I don't have enough experience with it because we don't have one, but Allie can help you in the chat with the name of a good company because I think they've been happy with theirs. Rob says, did you ever find out about that speeding truck? No, I really did call myself out on unconditional positive regard. And I was thinking, I'm going to look up who that is and I'm going to call. I mean, I'm sure his wife was in labor on that construction site. So that's the way it goes. Elizabeth Deering. Hi. This in case you're not, following along at home. That's my daughter, Elizabeth. That's her husband in her little picture there. That's her husband, Steele. So the house that caught fire, don't have any cause. So we showed you a few weeks ago the fire, and that was one piece of information we do have is that was the model home to be built. So that's a bummer. I was there last week. They've stripped that whole site down to the dirt. So even though there's a fire and probably the concrete was probably fine in the foundation, they dug the whole thing up and now they're going again. I don't know if they have to repurpose it or repermit it. I don't know if they have to do that or not, but that's going to slow them down a bit. On the model, the community is selling very, very well. So, and that's where you'll live, Elizabeth. Dawn. Hi, Dawn. Thoughts on Del Webb Oasis. So somebody said, as we were talking about a realtor choosing between realtors before, I want to be clear that when I say something, we just try to give you all of the information. So if you ask for my thoughts, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. The good part is that is the best location for somebody that wants to live in a 55 plus community near Disney in the world. It is a world-class place to live. The home sites are great. The amenity center is going to be great when it happens. The floor plans, unbelievable. I really like the folks that work there at the sales center. We know some of the folks that are actually building the houses. Solid, everything's good. The negative for Del Webb Oasis is it is pricey. It is really, really pricey because of all the things I just told you. The price point is quite high, especially for a lot that, backs up to conservation or where you can see the fireworks in the distance. And I say in the distance, it's right there. The fireworks are right there. So it's located, for those of you who don't know, Del Webb Oasis is located right near where the Disney College Program housing is, just down the street from that. It's an area of Horizon West called Oasis, which is the southernmost village in the Horizon West master plan. It's the only 55 plus community back there. It's just gorgeous. It's just expensive. That's the only thing I would say that's negative is that it's just expensive, and it's 55 plus. So you need to do some research on whether you want to live in 55 plus. And that's a tougher thing than you would think, because most people that move into a 55 plus have never lived in a 55 plus community before. And so there are really good things about it. And there are things about it that we have some wonderful clients who lived in 55 plus, then moved out of 55 plus, and now they're moving back to 55 plus because their original idea was, they were like, well, we kind of miss seeing kids around and having families around. And then they moved and they said, well, I think we were wrong about that. Kind of like it to be a little more laid back and low key. And so now they're moving back to actually Del Webb Oasis. So you just have to judge that for yourself. Susan Forrest Grant, do we have any special plans for Amy's birthday? No, help me. I don't like, so she's going to actually, you know what, you should have plans for her. Maybe you can meet her up for one of your McDonald's breakfasts or something, because she's going to be out of town. I really do great birthday gifts when I do them. And I was about to say when I have time for them, and that's not the right thing to say because it means I haven't prioritized it, and that's terrible. But in the past, I've done some really good birthday gifts and some things like with videos and cool things like that. And this is I won't tell you what the birthday is, but it's one of the marquee birthdays, and I'm blowing it. So I'll scramble this week. And Susan, thank you for reminding me. Oh, no, I guess she won't be there. I was thinking about the 27th. That's actually my son's birthday. Amy's birthday is the 30th. So I got a little bit, I have a week to figure it out. So we'll figure it out. Let's see. Do you have anyone building barn dominiums in Winter Garden? Boy, Laura, that would be a great idea. What they're building in Winter Garden right now is apartments. That's what they're building everywhere, everywhere you look. But no, I've not heard of anyone building any barn dominiums. And candidly, a barn dominium, I'm hoping is exactly what it sounds like, which is a condominium that's kind of in a barn. The land zoning here can be a little tricky because where we are in Horizon West. So Winter Garden is up north, and then unincorporated Winter Garden is essentially Horizon West, which is southern as you go, the southernmost part of the area as it leads you down to where Disney World is. We call it Disney's backyard. That's what kind of where it is. The zoning is a little funky because there's a master plan. And then now what's happening is most of the land is sort of designated for what it's supposed to be, but there are lots of zoning changes, and mostly the zoning changes have been, we'd like to build apartment buildings. As you can imagine, the folks that live in residential communities, like single family residential communities, aren't super thrilled about it. For me, I like it in the sense that we need more housing in this area. This is a really in-demand place for people to move. and there's not enough, and hopefully that would bring the cost of rents down a little bit to have more inventory of rents. And they tend to build the apartment complexes, close to the main roads, and then back behind there is where the single family residential is. It doesn't bother me that much, but my point about the barn dominiums is that would be a really good concept for whether it be a neighborhood or but the only place you could really do it right now, the way it's zoned, is in what's called the Avalon Rural Village. God, I can't say that word, rural. The Avalon Rural Village, where those lots have a little more square footage to the size of the lot. They've got to be 2 acres to 5 acres in a lot of the places. So you could do some of that on that property, I would imagine. But as of this time, not really. Pam Nicholson, have you ever worked with the Villages? Yes and no. So the Villages is a huge conglomerate, basically, in terms of real estate. We've had lots of clients that want to move from the villages, or people that want to move to the Villages. But there are communities here in the Orlando area, like Islesworth, some of the more luxury communities that have their own in-house internal real estate company. And the Villages is like that. So you can have another agent list your home in the Villages. You can have a buyer agent help you buy a home in the Villages, but they gatekeep a little bit on that. So, and the Villages it's stretching down into Lake County. It's going to come down further. Right now, the Villages is about an hour away from where we are right now. It's spreading, but our experience with the Villages is mostly through entertainment friends who go up there because apparently they're it's an entertainment paradise, because they're hiring bands and singers and all kinds of entertainment things all the time up there. It seems like a really fun place to live, but we haven't done a whole lot there. So let's go to Zillow Gone Wild, because I've got a really good, there's a really interesting house. It's another one of those, what you see on the outside might not be what's on the inside. All right, so let's go to Colorado Springs, Colorado. Lovely Colorado looking home there. And then we go inside, and what do we have? We got to think about stuffed animals on the wall and fur. That is a wall of stuffed animals, and that's a fur wall on the other side. Fur on the ceiling. That's another stuffed animal wall. So I'll just take this from a realtor's perspective. One of the things that we do in terms of real estate, and Florida Man, when you were asking about what to look for in a realtor, realtors love to get listings. We love it. It's a great part of the business. But sometimes when I see a house like this, I think about the realtor that was dealing with this home and what they must have thought about, how am I ever going to sell this? And from a seller's perspective, from the homeowner's perspective, I would just share with you that decorating your house like this is expensive. And it's a broader tale of, wow, that's a fur wall in the bathroom. Wow. What I mean by it's expensive to decorate your house like this is because, well, obviously they spent some money on some striped mannequins and things. But and by the way, I don't have a problem with this house at all. If that's the house you want to live in, that little mannequin peering over the stair railing creeps me out a little bit. But if that's where how and where you want to live, I think that's fantastic. But what I mean by it's expensive is you've either got to then renovate it to get it ready to sell, or you're going to have to discount the price of the house considerably, because any offer you get is going to include a little paragraph that says we're going to have to spend $100,000 to at least make this home neutral, or you have to find someone whose tastes are exactly the same as yours, who are very happy to do that. In the sort of feeding frenzy we had a couple years ago, I think you could probably sell that house and somebody would be like, well, we're willing to gut it. It's fine. Or, find someone with that exact taste maybe. But a little bit of a challenge. So, that's a very specific example. You can see very clearly there, specific taste. But that also goes for other things you do in your house. The colors that you paint the walls. So our friend Ken and his wife had a beautiful home in Watermark, and they had painted the walls blue, and it was beautiful. And we were concerned, and we shared with them that concern, that unless someone really loves that blue, it's going to be hard for them to get past it. Well, lo and behold, somebody that loved the blue came and was like, oh, this is beautiful. Love it. It looks like a Florida home. So happy. Great. And it was beautiful, but it was very specific for their tastes. So they had to make the choice of, do we give it a shot? Do we reduce the price, acknowledging that someone's going to have to paint it, or do we paint it ourselves? They chose to take a shot with it, and it worked out great. I think with that house in Colorado Springs, that might not work out as well. Allie, so just in from her husband, the water softener company we used was a neighbor. Horizon West Plumbing, yes. Very reasonable price, very helpful, informative. And so Horizon West Plumbing, those folks live right here in Horizon West. They're not named that because they just wanted to capitalize on the name. The owner of that company lives here and works here. And it's really, that's it. We don't do, by the way, we don't do referrals for money. We don't do that. It's another thing that I think differentiates Amy from other people. We don't have any agreements with anyone to receive a payment if we recommend them. In any case that happens, we almost always credit that to the person that is getting the service, because it doesn't feel right. We don't want to recommend anybody. We take this very seriously. We don't want to recommend anybody for the purposes of getting a payment for it. We want to recommend them because we want you to have the best experience. So Horizon West Plumbing, we don't have an agreement with them. We just have used them in the past with excellent results. And obviously my daughter and my son have done the same. So when researching realtors, I find it very hard to find reviews from past clients. There's somewhere past clients post comments their buy-side experience with their realtor. Yes. Okay. So the reason I'm hesitating, Disney Girl from Connecticut, I think that's CT is for Connecticut maybe. The reason I'm hesitating is because this is something that I fail at. I'm terrible about this, and I have such regret about it. People have really great experiences with Amy. I think over the course of the last 8 years, maybe we've had 350, 400 satisfied customers. And one of the things that they teach you in working in real estate is you should always ask for a review, and you should always have somewhere to post it. So when you say, is there somewhere for past clients to post? There should be. And I think we may be an example of the fact that a lot of times it's just a good and busy realtor we should be better at it. We should be better at sharing those things, but we're terrible at it. So if you don't see a lot of good reviews, don't assume they're not doing a good job. It may be that they're just not very good at asking for them. Amy is people never believe this, but she's actually quite shy. She doesn't have a lot of it pains her to ask someone to say something nice about her. So we actually need to do a better job of that as her support team to do that. But a lot of realtors will have, if you go to Google My Business, just Google their name, and people do write realtor reviews on Yelp and other places to write reviews. I would always say, here's the catch-22 with reviews for anything. If it's a solicited review, which is what you're going to see if a realtor has asked for the review, if they post it on their own website, we're never going to post a review that says, I had a terrible experience with Amy. And I mean, over the course of time, we like to be honest. There's probably been a couple of people who were like, I didn't like this or that or whatever. And I don't know whether they've gone and posted that somewhere. I think all the problems have been minor, and generally were difference of expectation more than anything. But we're not going to post those. We're not going to say, here's what people hate about us. Fortunately, there's not that many of those experiences. But if a realtor's posting their own reviews, they're going to pick the best of the best. And a lot of realtors are, what we get the advice to do sometimes is write your own review and send it to the person and say, would you agree with this? And then they post it. I don't like that. So I would say just search the name and realtor. In our business, though, a lot of times what happens is if you just look at performance, it's very, very difficult to stay in business as a realtor if you're not providing good customer service. It's very, very difficult. It's one of the number one reasons why realtors go out of business. Why, most of the agents that are selling lots of real estate and helping people buy lots of real estate have been in the business for 5, 10, 15 years because they get a demonstrated history of how to do it. And really, that tells you more than anything. And then the only other thing I would tell you is back to the other question about how you find a realtor is personality fit is so important. And that doesn't really come through for you in a review, in my opinion, because someone might have a wonderful experience with a realtor. Someone else might have the exact same experience and go, this is not what I wanted. So the best example I can come up with for that is when we were building our pool, we had a great experience with Pools by Bradley. Fantastic. I really have no real complaints about it, but I did complain. And it wasn't complaining. I was expressing my expectations about some things, and they were not communicating with me the way that I wanted to be communicated with. And so I reached out and I said, listen, I understand there's delays. So for example, we don't have our screen yet on our pool. There's delays. A lot of the screening equipment comes out of Fort Myers, Florida, that experienced a huge hurricane right when our screen was supposed to come in. So when I reached out about some of these delays and things, I said, listen, I want to know if you tell me it's going to be in 2 weeks and then there's a delay, just tell me there's a delay and tell me why. It's fine. And what they told me was, well, when we communicate with people and we give them dates and then something happens, they get mad at us and then we have an unhappy customer. And I said, well, I'm telling you right now, that's not me. I want the information. I'm not going to be an unhappy customer. The reason I'm an unhappy customer right now is because you're not communicating with me. So, and the point of that story, to come back to your question, is different people have different expectations, and they also have different ways that they want to be communicated with. So a review, an independent review that wasn't asked for by the person and wasn't posted, you got to dig in a little deeper and see what's underneath there. But I agree with you. There should be more, and goodness knows there should be more from us. And one way that you can review us is to like and subscribe this video. Sorry, back to my TV days. We do appreciate it if you like and subscribe. So I think I've gotten all the questions. Hopefully I've done a reasonable job of doing that. Let me look at the chat here and see where we're at. We're coming up on 10 o'clock. I think I was going to go through real quick Amy's listings. So let's do that real quick. There they are. And by the way, this is the old graphic because I have let me go to Glen Lloyd. So Glen Lloyd is a townhome, 2 or 3 showings in the next 2 days, partly because we reduced the price just a little bit. It's a beautiful townhome. It's priced really well. It was priced really well before, but it's expensive for a townhome because it's over 2,000 square feet. It's an end unit. It's priced well, but it's priced high. So someone looking for a townhome, may not be in that price point. So we moved it down just a little bit, a couple showings there, but I wanted to share that one with you. If you're looking for a townhome, I shared with you the Canna Lily home has an offer accepted. We're working on that paperwork today. Once Amy lands, this one, this is a mystery home. I don't understand. It is priced so well. It is so beautiful. It's so great. It's the one that we did. Where's my virtual showing button? Let me see. It's the one we shared with you in Amy's virtual staging thing last week. It's probably priced $20,000 or $30,000 under where other homes have sold in the exact same location. If it has a negative, it backs up to a main road, but there's a buffer of 20 or 30 yards there. It's not bad, and we've priced it with that in mind. So I can't figure that one out. So it's in Davenport. If you're thinking about moving, there's a real opportunity here for that one. So and then Sanibel is we tend to refer to things by their street. Sanibel's another beautiful townhome. Lots of showings. That one's going to go fast. But I wanted to touch on those because that's what we do, right? So let's see. Kim says, people almost always post about bad experience rather than good experience. That is so true. And also, I would say reviews are important and you should get reviews. But I would also recommend, once you get those, talk to 3 or 4 of the people. In a 5-minute conversation, you usually can tell everything you need to know about a realtor. And, ask them about, if they're interested in a certain area, say, what do you love about that area? What are the challenges in that area? And if they can't tell you what those things are, they may not know. Here's a good review test for you. And this is going to be in my pet peeves. So unconditional positive regard, we'll just say people should learn about their areas. It's important that they know their area. Here's a test between us. Don't tell anyone else, because it's a great way to tell if someone knows what they're talking about. Dealing here in Disney's backyard, the area we call Horizon West, Winter Garden, Florida. So many realtors who claim to have amazing market knowledge of this area right here in Disney's backyard will say, oh, and you've got to check out Horizons West. And they'll say Horizons West, and it's like nails on a chalkboard to me, because first of all, you're announcing that you don't know what you're talking about, because it's Horizon West. It's one horizon. So that's a good key. If you see someone talking about Horizons West, and sometimes they even put it in the listing, they don't know what they're doing. Because if you can't get the name of the area right, what else don't you know? So that's a good little check. Will you be showing some villa, aka duplexes, in the future? You know what? Yeah, we need to do that. I'm glad you said that, Rob. So if you watch the Sunday Drive, we call things different things here. I guess it's probably true everywhere. But so in Central Florida, a bungalow is a home that is, it's a single family home that has a rear entry garage. So the garage is not the front. We call that a bungalow here. When I was growing up, a bungalow was a beach cottage in Hawaii, right? So a villa has the same sort of thing. But here, a villa for us is a duplex. It's some of the 55 plus communities have them, and now Waterbrook up in Claremont has them. And and we need to go do a shot of that. The Tuscany floor plan in Waterbrook is the coolest villa I've ever seen. We didn't do a video of that one because we listed it and sold it. So we had one that we listed for someone. We had a buyer that bought it, and then they wanted to use it as an investment property. So we helped them put it up for lease, and it leased in 15 seconds. So we never did the thing. Diz Deb, thank you. Horizon West and Flamingo Crossings. Now I have to be honest. Flamingo Crossing gets me sometimes. It is Flamingo Crossings. You are correct. Sometimes I'll say Flamingo Crossing, and then I want to say, take your own advice. That's just a shopping area, so I give myself a little. It's not the overall whatever. Yes, Dawn, I promise we'll get it there. we will get you some more stuff. They have some under construction, so we'll go once they have one ready to sell. Part of the problem is we generally don't do videos of homes that are not for sale. So if someone has purchased it and they're building it, we generally don't go in and do that, because we feel like that even though the builder currently owns that home, that's going to be someone's house, and sometimes people don't want their house on the internet in perpetuity. So, and we've had calls before where people have said, "Hey, you did a model home tour of my house because I bought it as the model, and now it's my house. Could you take that video down?" And we always say yes. Geraint says, I'm getting it right, I think. Here in Wales, we call a bungalow a house with no upstairs. Really? So here we're very, very clever in America, and we call that a one-story. So now I've talked with Shafiq before about our other friend over there in the UK. He's mentioned to me before that the ground floor is the first floor, and usually the ground level. So there's levels, and the English language is a wide-ranging and interesting language. Let's see. Any new and exciting developments come to the area? Yes. So so when we define new, the master plan for Horizon West has been such a long time in development that it's difficult to think about what's new. So sometimes it's like what's actually beginning construction. I'm still really excited about Osprey Ranch, which is down in that Oasis Ovation Village. I think earlier I referred to it as Oasis Village. It's Ovation Village. Oasis is one of the neighborhoods there. Ovation Village is the southernmost thing. There's Osprey Ranch that's back there, which is going to be Taylor Morrison and Kay Hovnanian. They've had a water issue, so they've been held up. West Haven at Ovation, once people can live there, is going to be so beautiful. Again, water issue. There is a Dream Finders townhome community that's going to have like third floor roof terraces where you can watch the fireworks at night at Disney, which that to me is very cool. Serenity at Ovation is happening. That's kind of in the Horizon West area. There's a bunch of communities kind of like all around, kind of pocketed in places that are very exciting. I'm excited about Disney is building some lower cost housing back there in the Ovation area early in the plans. And then probably, for people that want to move to Central Florida, for me, Wellness Way is going to be ridiculously exciting. And the plan, so Wellness Way, if you think about, here we've got corridors. So we have the 429 corridor, 429 and Avalon Road kind of run together. That kind of makes up the Horizon West corridor. We'll move one corridor over to the west. That's Route 27. Route 27 is going to go all the way down through. It's going to be just like a new Horizons West. That was a joke. Horizon West. So Wellness Way is going to be that again. And there's all of these connecting roads that are going to come through there. And so when you say, what are the new exciting developments, that growth is going to drive so much exciting stuff that it's kind of a stay tuned, because it takes time, but there's a bunch of connector roads. They're going to make that Wellness Way corridor really part of what we call Disney's backyard here, because there's going to be such great access to Disney that I'm super excited about it, to the point where, we do short-term and long-term planning, and we were kind of like, well, okay, Horizon West, another 2 or 3 years, that's probably going to be a thing. Maybe that's the time that we just kind of say, okay, we'll just work on listings. And then all of the plans for Wellness Way come out, and we're like, well, I guess there's going to be another 25,000 new construction homes there. So I guess we'll help some people find those. So that's going to be very cool. Highland Ridge Meritage is an ovation as well. Yes, thank you, Dizdeb. That's absolutely true. And getting there. So there's people going to be moving in there soon. We have got a client named Chad who's got just a cool lot, and his spot in there is so good. And I'm very excited because he's to the point of, they're getting ready for drywall and those kind of things. It's kind of cool. Getting more questions, so I'll keep taking them. Hi, Natasha. Natasha. I combined your first and last name there. Natasha, do you know when the first houses will be ready at Silverleaf? Sorry if someone already asked that, but there's time difference in Seattle. Just getting here. Hi, hope things are good in Seattle. So I happen to know a lot about Silverleaf, the first homes there, because my daughter is building a house in Silverleaf. And one of the first ones. We sort of used the advantage of using Amy as your realtor is very often we know about things before other people know about things. And my wife's kind of a big deal. I'm so proud of her in terms of the work she does. And so she tends to know things. And she also, so they opened up 13 lots for single family homes. And she called them and said, I really want the next lot up. And they said, oh, like for one of your clients? And it's like, no, for my family. And so they were like, okay, we'll open up one more lot. So we were in the first release of lots. And so they're telling us now July, August. They might be telling us June, July, but we don't believe them. So the first 11 lots there, other than the one that burned down, have gone vertical. They don't have drywall yet. So when you say the first homes, I guess technically we're not in the first ones that were built. So I would say probably May, June for the ones that are the first little set right there. We've got another Crystal and Matt. Some clients of ours have a home there. Ilya and Valentina now have homes there. And so Crystal and Matt are going to be in our same time frame, probably July, August. And then Ilya and Valentina will probably be later at the end of the year, I would guess. But so we'll look at May, June. And when those happen, Natasha, I promise we'll get over there and get some cool stuff. Let's see. What do we got? Is the Disney affordable housing in the area where the vintage apartments is? Hard to tell from maps provided. So yeah, on the maps, I don't know how they're going to access that. But it's, so what I've seen on maps is you've got the new Hartzog Road that runs east-west and up into the Disney College program things. I'm so sorry I don't have a map to put on the screen for you right now, but it's north of those. So I do think it's behind that new apartment complex that they're building back there. But that's all I really know. I don't see any access roads or anything yet. I think it's a while off. But I do think that's going to be exciting to have that there. And DizDeb, yes. Once they open Western Way all the way through to 27 and 2026, Claremont will explode. And we mean in a real estate sense. There are several connectors, though, that are coming before that. So Schofield Road is supposed to be done this year. You actually can drive there now. You can actually connect. If you've seen some of our Sunday drives where they did the bumpity bump going through, you actually can drive that and go down Schofield and then go to a road called 5 Mile Road that will connect you to 27 right now. But once Schofield is connected, that'll be the first one. The timeline for the Horizon West connector from 429 is actually pre-2026. And then you got Fleming's Road connecting to Western Way, which is scheduled for 2026. It's going to be amazing. You guys have lots of questions, which I appreciate very much. And I just look at the time. I'm so sorry to keep you here, but let's see. Oh, yes. Dream Finders community and Del Webb community in Mineola. Hey, Damon, how are you? Yes. So Del Webb and Mineola is getting close, I think, to selling. So there's a Del Webb Mineola, and that community is beautiful. It's like up. People love Mineola and Claremont because there's a little more elevation. Del Webb Mineola is like up the hill. It's beautiful. I don't know enough about the Dream Finders one to tell you anything about it, other than it's in. That's not true. I do know things. I take it all back because they sent us some stuff last week. There's a Meritage community there, and there is an Ashton Woods community, which is their Starlight Homes community right there. The hills at Mineola or Mineola Hills. The villages at Mineola Hills and the hills at Mineola are two communities right there together. Dream Finders is also building there. And the exciting thing about that is they're building all of the cool floor plans. So they're building an Avalon with bonus. They're building the Tidewater with bonus. They're building the Anna Maria. They're building everything that is cool about Dream Finders in that community. So stay tuned. And Damon, I promise we'll get up there that actually probably is a really good place for a Sunday drive really soon to show you what's there. There's also the Pulte community. I need to know more about that. So Willow Ridge that's up there should be rolling at this point. So we'll get up there and look. I think that we may be at the end of the questions, which might make me happy, and it probably makes you happy then because we can get ready to get out of here. I'm trying to see is there anything else on my list that I was supposed to talk about today? No, that's it. I'm done. So thank you for sticking with me today. Remember to like and subscribe before you head out of here. I promise you that someone much better at this job will be in this chair next week, and I will be relieved. It will also be her birthday on that day. So maybe what we'll do is we'll do a birthday show. So join us next week. Sincerely appreciate you guys hanging out today. It's a lot of fun. And I'm going to go try to figure out how to make a pot of coffee and go from there. But as always, call Amy if you need anything. It says, I'm here to help. I am here to help, but that's actually built for Amy. And I'll say her little catchphrase, which is stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you, and happy house hunting. And we will see you real soon.